I stand before you all here today, a 30-year-old man, rich in life experience. I have been some places and I have seen some things. With that being said, what I learned from my 4 children on a regular basis amazes me. My 2 8-year-olds, my 6-year-old, and my 15-year-old show me things and teach me things I didn't even know that I needed to know on such a regular basis that I've become used to it now and I expect it. Just last week, my 8-year-old son blew my mind, so much so that I was left there, jaw dropped and speechless. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, last Christmas, my wife and I decided we were going to try something different. Every year it seemed we spent an absurd amount of money on toys, which ended up just broken or in the family garage sale come July. So we decided this year we're doing something different. We're going to flip the script and go out of the box and blow my kids away. We decided that we were going to go with 0 presents. We were not going to buy a single toy. We weren't sure how this was going to go over because every year up till now my kids have woke up on Christmas morning, rubbed the sleep out of their eyes, and walked out to the mountain of toys that Santa brought, and they attacked them and ripped them open and took their toys and went and played. Well, we decided this year we're taking a family field trip. That's what we call a vacation. So we decided we'll still do stockings, but instead of the regular junk that you get in stockings, we stuffed them with road trip snacks, games to play while we were going, things to do once we got there. And under the tree was not a single present, but a letter from Santa pinned to the tree. And it said, "From Santa Claus to the Stanley family." And that letter, on that letter, it explained to the children why Santa didn't bring toys. He said, "I know you like toys, I know you enjoy playing with toys, but I know that you get tired of toys. I want to give you something you're going to remember forever. So I'm sending the whole family to Great Wolf Lodge, the water park in Kansas City, Missouri." And Santa Claus somehow knew the password to our computer, so he queued up some things on YouTube of the slides and the pools, and all the kids had to do was click play. And they were amazed that Santa Claus knew all those things. So Christmas morning, we load up everybody. We go to Great Wolf Lodge. 5 days, 4 nights. We had an amazing time. We'd never been to a water park. I hadn't anyway, neither had my kids. And I found out that my kids are just a little bit fish. They love to be in the water. They can be in there day and night. It doesn't matter. They love the water. But as any parent knows that's taking their kid on a vacation, by that last day, you're ready to go home. So were my children. We could have left at 8:30 that night. We left at 5:30 that morning and headed back home. So I knew they had a good time, but I wasn't really sure how much they really loved it because they were ready to leave. But that set up our summer vacation. It gave us the idea to go to Memphis and then Florida and see the different things, and we had a great time there. My youngest daughter, my 6-year-old, she calls it her heaven world. She just told me the other day, she said, "Daddy, that was the most fun I've ever had on Earth." And I thought, well, I don't know when you left Earth or what you did there. I'm glad that we had a good time. So just last week, I'm sitting in the kitchen with my son, and we're watching my wife cook dinner. We're all just talking, having a good time, and I decided that I want to test him. Now, any of you that have interacted with children, you know children are easily persuadable. If you're at the park with your children and they say, "Daddy, Daddy, let's play on the merry-go-round. Let's get on the merry-go-round with us." You could say, "Daddy gets really sick on merry-go-round. I get motion sickness. That's not a good idea. That doesn't sound like much fun." Or you could say, "You see that slide right over there? That is the fastest slide I've seen in at least a week." And they're all off and running, ready to go on the slide, forgot about the merry-go-round. Well, my wife and I have been kicking it around. What are we going to do this Christmas? Are we going to take another field trip? If so, are we going to the same place? Are we going to do presents again? What are we going to do? So I decided, okay, I'm going to test my son a little bit. And I say, "Caden, you didn't really have that good of a time at Great Wolf Lodge, did you? I mean, it was fun, but it wasn't anything like Typhoon Lagoon. It wasn't that cool, was it?" And I fully expect him to say, "You're right, Dad, it was fun, but it wasn't as fun as this summer." Instead, my son looks at me like I have lost my mind and says, "What, Dad? Are you crazy?" He stands up, he said, "Great Wolf Lodge was awesome," and puts his hands on the table. And he starts talking about Wiley the wolf and Oliver the raccoon and all the characters that he met there and how cool they were and how fast the slides were and how much fun we had and how when the big bucket fills up and it dumps on you, how fun that is. And he reminded me how much I enjoyed the hot tub. And he went on and on about how great Great Wolf Lodge was. But I'm not one that's easily persuaded. So I said, "I'm going to push a little more." I said, "Caden, I don't believe you. I think you just want to go swim again. And I don't believe that Wiley was the wolf's name. I think you're pulling my tail." And what happened next, I will never, ever forget. My son, I expect him to argue with me. He doesn't argue with me. I expect him to look at me and be like, this again. He doesn't do that again. My son stands up, smiles at me, pulls a card out of his back pocket. And it's a card that Wiley the Wolf, a trading card Wiley the Wolf had given him 6 months prior that he still had in his pocket. Now keep in mind, we hadn't talked about Great Wolf Lodge for months and months and months. Hadn't been mentioned. We had just went to Disney World, the mecca for American children. He has pictures and autographs and toys and all sorts of things from there. But this kid's got a card, a trading card from Great Wolf Lodge. And he takes that card and almost like an ace of spades in a card game, he puts it down and he points to Wiley's name and he says, Wiley is the wolf's name, Dad. I was blown away. My jaw dropped. I was speechless. I was amazed. After I gathered my thoughts, I was amazed really because all the lessons hit me at that moment. I realized that memories really are more valuable than things, even to a child. I realized that odd family traditions are okay. You don't have to cookie cutter everything. You don't have to do the same things everybody else does, and it's okay. And last but not least, maybe the most important thing I learned is that I am never again buying a toy for any of my kids ever for Christmas again. No toy I could have given my son in December would he have even known where it was in July, let alone been carrying it around in his pocket and been ready to show me. So I tell my son, you got me there, son. I'm going to let Santa know you had a great time. I'm going to let Santa know you want to go back. And he's so excited, he goes running out of the kitchen to go tell the sisters that Santa Claus is going to know they want to go back. And I look at my wife, and in that moment, no words were necessary. I looked at her, and we both knew in that instant that our Christmas plans had just been made. Thank you. That's